Good evening. Welcome to the Candidate Forum hosted by the League of Women Voters of DeKalb County in partnership with WNIJ. My name's Kate Williams. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of Illinois, and I live in McHenry County, so I can't vote in this race. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization that neither supports nor opposes candidates or parties for any office. The League's purpose is to promote political responsibility through an informed and active participation of citizens in the government. Providing this forum allows citizens to be better informed about the issues facing your community and be better acquainted with the candidates running for office. We're happy to provide this service. The League of Women Voters is not responsible for verifying the accuracy of the statements that candidates make in this forum. Questions are from the League, and community members have been collected before the forum and in screened for duplication, clarity, and appropriate for the office being discussed. The candidates have not been given these questions before the forum. They've agreed to the ground rules that no voice, image, or other duplication of the forum may be used in any candidate's representative or in any campaign advertising. By participating in this forum, all candidates have agreed to abide by the rules set forth in this forum. It's available on two different WNIJ platforms, including Facebook Live. I have been asked to announce that WNIJ reserves the right to mute any commentator who does not follow WNIJ's social media policy. Each candidate will have a 1-minute introductory statement in the order set by alphabet by their last name. The questions will be asked, and each candidate will have 1 minute to respond in alternating order. Closing statements will be 1 minute as well. An electronic timer will be used, and candidates will strictly adhere to the time limits. Candidates, when your timer reaches 0, please finish your sentence, but then you stop. So let us welcome tonight the participating candidates, again for Sycamore City Council, Ward 1, with 1 seat open: Robert Collins, Alicia Koski, and Joshua Huseman. All right. Cameras on, sound on, and we're ready to get started.
Go. There we go.
All right, great. We'll start then with you, Robert. 1 minute statement, opening statement.
Hello, I am running for the first time for any elected position for the first ward because this last year in my district, Lovett's towing was allowed into my neighborhood, and I was at the meeting where that was allowed to happen, and there was a large contingent against it for various reasons, and the city or our alderperson voted for it anyways. And I'm a little bit tired of government that doesn't pay attention to the citizens and what they want. Now, Lovett's probably would have come in on a 6-2 vote even if our 2 aldermen voted against it, but it would have felt better if we had been listened to. And so that's why I got involved in this race. I was raised in Sycamore, graduated high school here, and I'm a homeowner here now. And I have a master's degree in communications from NIU. And that's the end of my time.
All right, thank you. Alicia?
I grew up in a Polish neighborhood in Detroit with many children and their hardworking parents. And this is where I first experienced a real sense of community. As a result, I'm committed to building neighborhood communities in Sycamore where families can flourish. Through a variety of volunteer activities, I learned about my community and its generous and caring residents. It taught me that leadership requires listening to others, solving problems by working together, and respecting everyone's contributions. As a result, I'm committed to being accessible and actively listening to residents' concerns while exploring viable solutions. After 43 years of residency, I've fallen in love with Sycamore and am committed to investing my time and talent in promoting Sycamore's vibrancy within a framework of sustainability while serving on the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Joshua?
I think we're all here because we want to see Sycamore succeed. And I think it might be a little fairy tale-ish, but we've chosen to live in Sycamore because we think our dreams can come true here. And where we live says a lot about the hope that we place in the future. I think Sycamore's success requires leaders who place the community first. I believe this happens in two ways. The first is to preserve the core of what makes our community charming and stimulating economic progress so that we can attract more residents and business owners. That's exactly what I've done the last 4 years as the incumbent in the first ward, including through a difficult pandemic. But I also think that how we do this is just as important as the what. And so I'm going to do this. I'll continue to serve as an engaged neighbor. I'm going to work hard and to continue to support Sycamore succeeding. Thank you.
All right, we'll go to the questions, and I'll always repeat it or paraphrase the question. So Alicia, we'll start with you. The first question is, what are the most pressing infrastructure improvements needed in the city, and how should they be paid for? 1 minute.
Okay, first of all, the first and foremost is replacing the underground lead water pipes in all affected neighborhoods. That is currently underway. I understand that funding is currently available through grants, and I'm just hoping that those are enough that we don't place a burden on the taxpayers. Another one is in terms of infrastructure, improved communications, which is technology. There are a lot of things happening in terms of tree trimming, street repairs that the residents really don't hear about until after the fact. And so I think we need to start using technology a little bit better to keep residents informed and happier as a result. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Joshua, pressing infrastructure.
Yes, I think our infrastructure is primarily underground and the ground. And so our water is indeed an aging infrastructure. We have a lot of old infrastructure from being an aging community. And so that's why the city budget calls for about $4 million per year in capital improvements. So much of it, though, is boring and going underground. And then we're also using our motor fuel tax and our sales tax for our roadways. If you're at the last council meeting, we discussed about a $2 million infrastructure plan for 2023 into 2024 that includes roadways. We listened to our roadway pavement index, which has a list of all of the community neighborhoods that need repaving. Interestingly, some of our newer neighborhoods need their final lift of asphalt. And so we've already prioritized those streets in those communities that need to be done. That infrastructure is quite simple. It's our roads and it's our water pipes.
All right, thank you. Robert?
Well, I have to agree with Alicia about the lead in the water, as I live in one of the neighborhoods that does have the old lead pipes. And so I, for certain, would look forward to having them replaced. There is, as Josh has said, there's already a plan for the roads. And I saw that was in the latest agenda for the city council. And so that I feel has been taken well care of. But one thing I appreciate about Sycamore that I would like to see expanded is more of the bike paths. There's a section of bike path I would like to see that goes from Peace Road and 64, connecting to where the bike path goes through the neighborhoods up there by the Jewel, and connecting that, because it's a very dangerous section, very busy section of road, and that bike path connecting would really make bikers safer. And I think that's important.
Thank you. All right, second question, and we'll start with you, Joshua. Besides infrastructure, what are your top 2 priorities to focus on as a member of City Council? Why are they important? And what would you like to see the city council do about each one?
Yeah, I'll stick with how I began, which is it starts with preserving the core. And the core of what makes Sycamore charming is our downtown. And so that's why I helped establish the Beautification Committee, which is a proactive approach to making downtown a focused and vibrant community. Then from the downtown, we have to extend into the gateways. And that's where our entry points are. Route 64 is a great example. One of the priorities is already in place. I've adopted a stretch of highway on Route 64 with the families of Townsend Woods to help collect the trash that's accumulating from those trash trucks coming up and down Route 64. So we preserve the core, and then we stimulate economic progress. Sycamore needs to continue to grow. Our economic progress is going to come from supporting our small businesses, having downtown incentives and relocation, as well as paramount public safety. So we must preserve the core and stimulate economic progress.
All right, thank you. And now, Robert, besides the infrastructure, your top 2 priorities to focus on.
Well, for me, accountability in government is my top priority always, and looking out for what is in the best interest of the citizens. Now, Sycamore is not exactly what I would call a hotbed of corruption so far as I know, but I would like to certainly make sure that we do things like have constitutional training for our city employees so they know how to deal with citizens. This is an issue that's going on across the country, where there are people that go around and test local governments to see how well they perform in what are called audits. And some cities end up having to spend a lot of money in court costs because they violate it. So making sure our employees are well trained so they know how to handle these situations would be a major priority for me. And I didn't leave myself much time for a second priority. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you. And then to you, Alicia.
Yes, I want to return to that idea of transparency and improved communication by giving personal examples. I returned home from vacation a couple of summers ago and was shocked when I looked at the tree in front of our house. Approximately 1/3 of its top was left. It had been trimmed by the city. I had no notification, no idea, and the tree is still coming back slowly. I was very upset about that. We in the past had paid to have our tree pruned and keep it up above the garbage trucks as they came through. It provided shade over the sidewalk. That was all gone, and over the lawn, which kept the lawn looking nice and not need so much water to keep it looking nice. So I think that the city can, provide brief project descriptions and approximate timelines, and let residents know the impact of the work on individual homes, whether it's lawn removal and replacement or trimming shrubs that might be in the way. I think
All
it
right.
would be a courtesy and solve
Thank you.
some issues.
All right. 3rd question, and we'll start with you, Robert. What are your ideas about retaining current businesses and attracting new businesses to the community?
Oh, well, as far as retaining new businesses, I definitely think that we can be looking at what are the possible, ways we can save money and improve, especially like downtown, improving traffic and people's ability to get to these businesses. I know that we have several parking structures, but I would like to see, more on the north side of Sycamore if we can, because they all seem to be on the south side and farther away from the businesses. And so I think that would be helpful if we can get some parking in. What was the second part of the question? Oh yeah, attracting new businesses. That is not an area of expertise for me. So I'm gonna have to say that that's something I have to learn as we go along.
All right, thank you. Alicia?
Attracting and supporting small businesses is critical for Sycamore to maintain its vibrancy. The Chamber of Commerce is commended for encouraging local shopping by residents. The featured events downtown attract residents and non-residents to visit and experience the unique attributes that Sycamore has to offer. We need to continue to develop those kinds of opportunities to attract new businesses. I know of one example in Waterman. They're working with a 3-month trial where businesses come into Waterman and they're allowed free of charge, no rent, to actually open their business. And then after 3 months, they decide whether it might be someplace they want to stay and if it's profitable for them. The council, working collaboratively with the Chamber of Commerce, results in sound decisions that make Sycamore a welcoming and profitable location for small businesses.
All right, thank you. And Joshua?
Yeah, there are two specific things that come to mind for me. The first priority that I have is to provide a relocation and incentive package for businesses to come to downtown. We do have a facade grant improvement program providing up to $5,000 for business owners already. I'll give you an example of that. I called the owner of the vacated 7-Eleven building who lives in San Francisco and does not even live in Sycamore. And I've provided him information on this facade grant improvement. A second priority of mine is to provide business training for the baby boomers that are retiring in our business and in our community. Many of them don't have a plan for transition, and I'm building a curriculum to help them transition these businesses effectively. I am a member of the business community. I've worked for a local bank for 16 years. I have the support of many small business owners, and I am a member of the Sycamore Chamber of Commerce as well.
All right, thank you. All right, fourth question. What is your vision for the role of affordable or moderate cost housing in Sycamore? And what actions would you support to make this happen? And Alicia, we'll start with you.
When it comes to affordable or moderately priced housing, I think it's important for any city to look at the demographics and plan housing for the different levels of annual income, whether building new homes or rentals for residents. I think an essential element also is to establish reasonable standards that property managers need to meet in accommodating their tenants' concern. Accountability is critical. I'm hoping that we're very close to encouraging the building of smart homes in Sycamore, and that when we talk with planners or individuals who are coming in to try and sell their development plan, that this is a significant part of it. But I really think it's critical that we start looking at the levels of income in this city and try to tweak the type of housing that we provide to meet their income levels.
Yeah. All right, Joshua?
If you look, our comprehensive plan already calls for this. Our comprehensive plan has future use, land use mapping from R1 to R4, residential 1, which is single family homes, to R4, which is multi-family apartment buildings. So the council already has a plan to allow for diverse housing stock, and we've already zoned for these. I think it's important, though, that we look at infill first. We already have neighborhoods that are beginning to be built. We have many lots available to build on today. And so I think it would be super important that we build out the existing neighborhoods first before we annex or before we grow into new areas. And so this is already called for in our comprehensive plan. The zoning is already there. I do think it is important that we have diverse housing stock, though, that allows for people of all income levels to live in Sycamore, this wonderful place that we call home.
All right, thank you. And Robert?
Yeah, I agree with the others. We need to have a variety of housing available for all incomes. You know, I lived in Korea for several years and taught English there. And one thing that struck me about the way their economy was built is there seemed to always be 3 levels available for, they have people, farmers who would come in and they would just put their wares out on the street, you know, and that was one level of an economy that was cheaper. And then they would go up to the big fancy department stores. So they always seem to have in any neighborhood 3 levels. So there was always things available for whatever economic level you lived at. And I think that Sycamore is perhaps a little top heavy with single family developments right now with less available for poor people, but we do have the advantage of having DeKalb right next door, which has more apartment complexes. And so that is also a resource.
All right, thank you. It goes very quickly. And now we'll do our closing statements. 1 minute closing statement. We'll start in reverse order. Joshua.
The ideas I support are twofold. We have to preserve our charming identity. That starts downtown, which gets to the beautification that I've already talked about, extending into the gateways, into the entry points of Sycamore, Route 64. Join me on Earth Day. We're going to be cleaning up Route 64. The second part of that is stimulating economic progress. That starts with supporting our businesses, which I've done for 16 years. We need to have a diverse tax base, and we have paramount public safety. I think I'm the best candidate because I can turn strategy into action, build consensus with diplomacy and the credibility that I already have in 4 years on city council. I believe that outside our family, our neighbor is the best person that we can love. That's what motivates me to serve. I hope tonight that I've earned your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Alicia?
As a candidate, I will fully invest my time and talent in representing the residents of Ward 1. As mentioned in my introduction, I believe in building neighborhood communities where families can flourish now and in the sustainable future. It's about the kind of legacy we will leave for the next generation of Sycamore residents. I believe in open and honest communication. Residents need to be informed, their concerns heard and addressed in a responsible and timely manner. I believe that the heartbeat of Sycamore is our downtown area, and that offers a welcoming and congenial atmosphere that brings people together. Promoting Sycamore's vibrancy within a framework of sustainability will serve to maintain its heartbeat long into the future. So I ask for your vote on or before April 4th. Thanks to the League of Women Voters for sponsoring this event, WNIJ for hosting it, Kate for serving as moderator, and I acknowledge my opponents for participating in this forum. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert?
Yes, I would also like to say that, the city of Sycamore and the people of Sycamore, especially the first ward, are going to be my first concern going forward. As I said at the beginning, I want government that's responsive to the people and concerns with the people. Like I said, I grew up here and I've spent a lot of my life struggling like all of us have. And if we can do anything to make people's lives a little bit easier, that's going to make a huge difference for people. People are good-hearted and they try their best, but sometimes, they just need a little bit of help. And that's where I would like to come in.
Great, thank you. Well, the time's up for our forum. Your participation as a candidate and as a voter is essential to preserving the freedom we hold so dear. For more information, visit the nonpartisan website, illinoisvoterguide.org, where a recording of this forum will be posted on each candidate's page. Please remember to vote on or before April 4th. We thank you, the candidates, the Voter Service Committee, and WNIJ for organizing this forum. Good night.
Good night.